Why you feel lost in life. Carl Jung's Guide to Finding Your True Self. You wake up, but something feels off. You're breathing, moving, functioning, but not really living. Not like you used to, not like you imagined you would. There's a weight, a question you can't shake, a quiet voice that keeps whispering, "Is this all there is?" You look around. Life is happening. People are moving, smiling, working, posting. But you feel like a ghost, present but unseen, busy but directionless, alive but lost. Why do we feel this way? Why do so many people, despite doing all the right things, end up feeling hollow, empty, disconnected? Carl Jung had an answer, and it wasn't about motivation or positive thinking or chasing happiness. It was about truth and the painful process of becoming yourself. Most people don't live. They perform. They follow the script given to them by their parents, culture, society. Go to school, get a job, get married, have kids, buy a house, retire. But somewhere along the way, they forget to ask one terrifying question. Who am I, really? Jung believed that the greatest tragedy isn't death. It's reaching the end of your life, never having met yourself. Your real self. Not the mask you wear, not the role you play, but the part of you that has been whispering, waiting, aching to be seen. That's what this video is about. So if you've ever felt lost, uncertain, or stuck in a life that doesn't feel like yours, stay with me. The crisis of meaning. Jung called it the midlife crisis. But it's not about age. It's a spiritual crisis. A crisis of meaning. It happens when the identity you built, the one that once protected you, starts to feel like a cage. You've climbed the ladder, but it's leaning against the wrong wall. You've achieved success, but you feel more disconnected than ever. Why? Because you've neglected the inner life. And the soul doesn't care about resumes, or likes, or approval. It cares about truth, alignment, wholeness. What is the self? Jung said the self is not your ego, it's not your job, your looks, your achievements. It's the totality of who you are, the conscious and the unconscious, the light and the shadow. Most people identify only with the parts of themselves that others like. Smart, kind, successful, attractive. But the rest? The insecure, the jealous, the angry, the afraid. They hide it, suppress it, call it bad. But here's the twist. You can't become whole by cutting yourself in half. The mask you wear. Jung called it the persona, the mask you wear to survive. The one you learn to wear to be loved, to be accepted, to fit in. You became the good child, the achiever, the strong one, the funny one. But what happened to the real you? The messy you? The one with feelings and fears and needs? You buried it. But buried things don't die. They haunt. That's why you feel lost. Not because you lack purpose, but because you lost touch with your truth. Shadow work, the path to wholeness. So what's the way out? It's not about reinventing yourself. It's about remembering yourself. Jung called it individuation, the lifelong process of becoming who you already are, beneath the noise, beneath the conditioning, beneath the roles, and it starts with the shadow. Your shadow is everything you disown, the anger you deny, the sadness you hide, the needs you pretend you don't have. But here's the key. Your shadow holds your power. Until you face it, you will project it onto your partner, your kids, your enemies. You'll blame others for what you haven't accepted in yourself. You'll keep feeling triggered. You'll keep repeating the same cycles until you turn inward and finally ask, what part of me have I abandoned? When the soul rebels. Ever had a breakdown? A panic attack? A sudden urge to quit your job? Leave your relationship? Run away from everything? That's your soul rebelling, not against life, but against the false life you've built. We call it burnout, depression, but sometimes it's not a mental illness, it's a spiritual awakening. It's your inner self screaming, "This isn't me." Jung believed that what we call neurosis is often the refusal to live an authentic life. You're not crazy, you're just tired of pretending. How to begin finding yourself. So how do you find your way back? Get quiet. Most people are so distracted they never hear their own soul. Turn off the noise. Spend time alone. Journal. Walk. Meditate. Notice what hurts, what triggers you. What makes you jealous? What do you envy in others? That's your shadow, trying to get your attention. Pay attention to your dreams. Jung believed dreams are messages from the unconscious. They show you what your ego refuses to see. Stop performing. Drop the mask. Let people see the real you, even if it's messy, especially if it's messy. Say yes to what feels aligned, even if it scares you, even if it makes no logical sense. You are not lost. You are becoming. What if you're not lost? What if this confusion is the sign you're waking up? You've outgrown the version of you that could survive inauthenticity. Now your soul is asking for more truth, more alignment, more you. And yes, the journey will feel like falling apart, because in a way it is. You're shedding layers of illusion, letting go of the you that was never real, to become who you've always been underneath. Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But privilege requires courage. Not the courage to fight the world, but to face yourself. Final thought. You're not broken. You're in transition. If you're feeling lost, remember, you're not broken. You're in transition. You're moving from a life that was built on shoulds to a life built on truth. From performing to living. From coping to becoming. And yes, it's lonely. Yes, it's confusing. But it's also the most honest thing you'll ever do. Because you're not just finding your way. You're finding yourself. If this video resonated with something deep inside you, don't ignore that feeling. That's your soul, recognizing the truth. And if you want more videos like this, about shadow work, emotional healing, and finding your true self, subscribe to The Human Lens. Because every week, we're going deeper. Not into trends, not into gimmicks, but into truth. So you can stop chasing a life that looks good and start living a life that feels real. Like, share, comment below. What part of yourself are you ready to reclaim? Because this isn't just a video. This is your mirror and your turning point.